Thanks.
Now, an inventor who has spent the last 10 years developing a collapsible battery-powered incubator is set to receive a prestigious award from the Royal Academy of Engineering. It's so clever, this.
It's incredible bit of engineering, yeah. It's called the mOm incubator. It's already saved the lives of more than 1,500 children in Ukraine. It's currently being trialled across 4 hospitals in the UK. Well, we're joined now by inventor James Roberts and Dr. Neil Patel, who's a consultant neonatologist in Glasgow. Thank you both for being with us. Nice to see you. Good morning.
Good morning.
And you've brought it in.
This is it.
This is one. Yep.
We might get you to show us how it all works.
Yes.
If that's
Putting on
okay.
Should we start?
Yeah.
Want me to show you how it works?
Yes, please.
Please do.
Okay, so...
Do you want to do it on here?
Of course.
Or
Yeah.
whatever you
Do you
think.
need a hand? Let's move the coffee and show us.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, so normally neonatal incubators are huge, massive bits of equipment, and Neil will be able to attest to that. So we've taken that technology and put it into a really small, easy-to-access piece of kit. Been really focused on simplicity. You wouldn't believe how many things a clinician, nurse, midwife has to remember when they're just ultimately trying to save a life. So we've tried to design simplicity throughout the entire system that we've built. So as you can see,
Wow, this is incredible already.
really easy to put up.
That's taken seconds so far.
Yeah,
Wow.
there you go. And there.
So just talk us through the bits that you're putting on now and what they do.
Yeah, so this is just to create a canopy. You're basically trying to create like a microenvironment for a child.
Yeah.
So it's to keep it in its thermal neutral zone. So we do these up, and then one button operation, and you've got everything you need for a preterm baby, not just to survive but thrive. So
That
Wow.
took no time whatsoever.
that's a bit longer than it usually takes. So.
You're even
The
quicker
pressure
than that.
on the telly. And the important thing here, so quite aside from how portable it is and how
Yep.
quick it is to put up, battery operated
Yep.
and much lighter than one
Simplicity, less than 20 kilos. Most incubators are more than 100 kilos, 150. They literally take a crane if you want to get them to a second floor. You can take this anywhere. I mean, I bought this up in my car yesterday, so really easy to get anywhere they need, really easy to get to the kids.
And this started, unbelievably, as your university project?
This was my final year university project, yeah. I'm a product design engineer by background. It was my final year
Wow.
thesis.
Dr. Neil, talk us through about how significant a breakthrough this is and what difference something of this, lightweight, flexible, easy to put up, easy to transport, what difference will it make day to day?
Yeah, thanks very much. Morning. Well, as you can see, traditional incubators like the one behind me are really big pieces of kit and really expensive. They've been designed for use in developed settings, in modern and neonatal intensive care units like our one here at the Children's Hospital in Glasgow. And they address a challenge which is common for all babies, but particularly for premature and very sick babies, which is trying to keep them warm. And we know that if a baby is not warm, that adds significantly to the risks of them having more problems and actually, as you've been talking about already, increases the chances of them not surviving. So James and his colleagues at mOm have really been addressing what is a fundamental problem for all newborn babies, but especially small premature ones. And the device that they've developed is groundbreaking, really. Firstly, because of the revolutionary design that is smaller and more compact, and that allows us to be able to travel with it and to store it much more easily, but also to get it to places where there may not traditionally have been means of getting a big piece of kit like the one behind me.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to ask, actually. You would imagine, and this used to, great extent in Ukraine where, there are difficulties for power supply and just being able to move those babies around, particularly getting down to things like bunkers during air raids. Why would it be such a breakthrough here in the UK where one would hope those facilities are already available?
Yeah, it's a really great question. I mean, the sickest babies that we treat here in neonatal intensive care units need to be here with a specialised staff and all the specialised equipment that we have. But there are a number of babies who are able to stay with their mother. And if we're able to design pieces of equipment like the mOm that enable them to stay in non-intensive care environments, then that's much better for them. And James's device is really helping us to create new pathways of care where we're keeping mums and babies together and keeping them warm in the place where they're happiest. And that's also why it's revolutionary for our settings, for our higher intensity settings, even in developed settings, as well as its huge utility in places like Ukraine and in lower resource settings.
James, how did the connection with Ukraine come about, and what stories can you tell us about how these have helped there?
Clinicians initially reached out to us because they were having issues with their flexibility of healthcare. They're having to make the choice of either taking these newborn babies down to bunkers and potentially getting cold, or staying up in NICU maternity ward and potentially getting maimed. Horrible decision to try and make. So we were one of the only systems that really offered them the choice to do both. They could take this anywhere they needed to. So they reached out to us, sent us letters, and with another number of other organisations in the UK, so BSI, Cogent, they managed to get these systems to where they were needed, ultimately. Crown agents as well were able to do the logistics of this system. One thing building it, actually getting there, they've been incredible in what they've done.
You say one thing building it as well. It's about funding, isn't it, to be able to make these things happen? So you won a prize back in 2014, which gave you a sort of a grant to then further develop it, and that's why this is able to be delivered like this.
To give an idea, I think on average medical devices take between 5 and 10 years and probably about 8 figures worth of funding to get to this stage. We've done it a bit quicker and a bit more cost effectively, but they are highly developed piece of kits. They're precision engineering, and they have to be ultimately pretty much perfect. You're dealing with the most vulnerable of patients with something like this, so you have to make sure that every issue is designed out.
And is this something, the type of invention that we will see across healthcare now, making things lighter, faster to move, easier to transport?
Hey, we hope, right? I want to get this globally. I mean, ultimately, mOm stands for giving every child access to smart healthcare technology. We want to keep developing products like this. There's so many things that could be looked at in a new way. So
like
if we
what?
take the same, CPAP machines, IV pumps. Ask Neil. He's probably got a load of things that I'd love to help him with. But if we take the same ethos to design a multitude of other products, I think we'd be onto quite something special.
Yeah, and I want to actually put that question to Neil, because what difference will this sort of technology make to the NHS? And it's about coming up with new ideas for old problems, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all recognise the pressures that the NHS is under, but we also recognise that one of the really positive ways and opportunities to help us address those is by working with colleagues like James. And it's been such a positive experience to work with James and the team from mOm over the past few years, and to see the fruits of all their hard work and expertise. And we want to use that approach to address lots of challenges within the NHS. We have a really strong focus here within our own children's hospital in Glasgow on innovation. And our model is very much to connect with the people who've got the expertise and the ideas, and to bring that together with the clinical experience of our team to say, how can we solve some of these really challenging problems and create best technology? As you've seen, we're a really technology-focused specialty. That's what helps to keep these very vulnerable babies alive. But there's still lots of development that we can do to really improve the experience and the outcomes for those babies and for their families. So we absolutely want to partner with James and with colleagues like him to get the best results for them.
Dr. Neil, really good to have you with us this morning. Thanks so much. That's Dr. Neil Patel joining us live from Glasgow. And thank you so much, James, for bringing that in. It's an incredible invention.
Thank you so much.
Well done.
If people want to support, there's a Just Giving campaign / Crown Agents Ukraine, so we can get more of these out to where they're needed.
Well done, James. Thank you.
Thank you. Whether you can fold it down just as quickly.
Very quick, don't worry.